It's No Sudden Moves TV. Episode 2 starts right now. What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to No Sudden Moves TV Part 2, hosted by me, DJ Swamp Thing. It's a show where we sit down and talk to some great people of Columbus. We have community leaders, we have nonprofit leaders, we have spoken word and hip-hop R&B artists, we have educators. Speaking of educators, I'm sitting right here with the Career Services Director of Ohio Media School, Mr. Alvis Moore. Thank you, sir, for sitting with me.
I'm glad to be here. Glad to be here.
Thank you very much. So we're going to get right into it. We're going to start from the beginning. Well, we'll start from right now, actually. You're the Career Services Service Director of the Ohio Media School right here in Whitehall, Ohio.
Yes.
It is a, would you call it a career school?
A vocational career school.
Vocational career school. Okay, can you tell us a little bit about the school and what it is that you do?
Well, what I do here at the Ohio Media School is to help students and graduates to get jobs. Current students get internships, and sometimes they get placement in jobs before they graduate, which is always a great thing.
Right.
But my job is to make sure that your dream happens.
Okay.
Working with you to make your dream happen.
Correct.
Yeah.
So it's is it multimedia, radio, video?
It's multimedia because as I often tell students in class, you're in an industry, not in a box. It's more than about being behind a microphone on a radio station, in front of a camera on a TV station. There's so much more going on in this digital world because now radio is the new TV and TV is the new movie. So
right. Wow. Now, is it AM and PM classes? Is it how is it broken down time?
Well, we do have morning classes and evening classes, and both classes are just as active with just as great instructors as they have during the daytime. As a matter of fact, this building is always popping.
Really?
Always active, I tell you.
Okay, awesome.
It's supposed to be quiet on Friday, but it is not.
No?
No, it's not.
Wow. Wow. So classes are Monday through Thursday?
Monday through Thursday. Friday, students come in with the extra time to work on their projects or to attend seminars or to just come in and work on their skills.
Okay, awesome. Now, I know from when we talked earlier that you've been in radio yourself for a number of years. Can you just elaborate about that?
If I had this when I was in radio a number of years, I would have been dangerous.
Wow.
I'm serious.
Wow.
I went in there completely cold, not knowing anything but push the button and pray that the thing was on.
Yeah.
But I started off at 92 XM with Bob Cunningham when he did a show called Gospel Caravan.
Okay.
And he was on that station for about 10 years, and then he moved to WVKO. And when he moved to WVKO, I went over with him, but they made me a co-host, and then I became the host of 2 shows.
Wow. And you did that for a number of years?
Yeah, for 30 years. Yeah.
30 years?
30 years.
Wow.
Yeah.
So it seems like you liked it.
Yeah, I did. Yeah, I did. I wouldn't trade anything for it, yeah.
Wow. Now, as being on the radio personality for as long as you have, I mean, I'm sure you've seen a lot of things change.
Yeah.
What is the biggest difference you've seen from today that maybe you wish you would have had? I know you said you wish you had the knowledge, but as far as maybe tech is concerned or software, what is the biggest change that you've seen that you wish you would have had back then?
I wish I could have had all of the software, the things that make it easy to sound great. The Adobe Audition and all that stuff, because we had to splice things manually. We had to edit tapes manually with razor blades and tape and everything else. We didn't have, oh my goodness gracious, you lay the thing down and pray that you didn't mess up.
What?
So it can play back in, because we had reel-to-reel tapes. So we didn't have Audacity and all that stuff that you can speak into and watch the waves go by and then go back and clean it up. No, it had to be on point right then.
Wow. That's, I would have been looking for that.
No, you would have loved it. You would have loved it,
wow. Now, other than radio, we also talked about how you yourself was an educator in the school system for a number of years as well.
Yeah, for 32 years.
Wow.
Yeah.
So did those? So you did both.
Did both.
Radio and
both of them. Yeah.
So your schedule was pretty.
It was pretty full.
Wow.
It was pretty full. Fortunately, most of the time, radio was on the weekend. So.
Okay.
Yeah. So it wasn't always every day.
Right. Okay. Now, with being here at this type of environment and being in, I would assume maybe junior high school, what is the importance of education, and then two, getting students out in the real world? Are those coincide and just as important, or is it a little level of difference between them?
Well, I think that first of all, the students have got to believe in themselves.
Okay.
They've got to believe in themselves, and they've got to be aware of any barriers that may get in the way of them being, completely consistent and moving through. Planning is the key thing. Time management is the key thing, and staying focused is the key thing, and not just getting so flustered so quickly. So really, at the beginning, it's kind of like building up their spirit and their mind to understand you can do this.
Yeah.
It's not supposed to be easy,
Right.
So you can do this. And if you have barriers, then you are smart enough to think how to get around those barriers to reach your goal.
Yeah. Do you see the focus more with Ohio Media School being that it's mainly more adult driven? Or is the focus or lack thereof kind of the same as is in high school?
It's just the same as is in high school, because even in high school situations, there were adults there because I taught adult education. So it's the same. They all have dreams. They all have goals they want to reach, and we just want to help them to realize them.
Okay. All right. Sounds good. Hey, we're going to take a quick break. We're going to be right back with Mr. Alvis Moore of the Ohio Media School. Give us a few minutes. We'll see you soon.
Yo, make sure you tune in every Thursday on undergroundcolumbus.com for the Kid Cash and Swamp Show. You never know who we got coming through the building. You never know who's going to call in on the phone line. So make sure y'all tune in to the Kid Cash and Swamp Show every Thursday, 6 to 10 p.m. right here, undergroundcolumbus.com. You know what it is.
Welcome back to No Sudden Moves TV, Episode 2. Still here sitting with Mr. Alvis Moore, Career Services Director for Ohio Media School. We were talking a little bit off the air during the commercial, and you mentioned that your dad was part of a group back when you were growing up. Can you just tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, he was a part of a legendary group. I can say that word now.
Okay.
Legendary group called the Five Royales. They started off as a gospel quartet called the Royal Sons Quintet.
Okay.
And then they developed into the Five Royals that gave a lot of skill and talent to the music world internationally. So,
wow.
Yeah.
So as you were growing up, you got a lot of free concerts?
Yeah, I did.
Like
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Now, what type of, that was back when?
In the 50s, yeah. Okay. I was when I was born, they were already still doing it.
Okay.
So I remember when I was about 3 or 4 years old, they were still doing gospel.
Okay.
This is before they moved into being the Five Royales, but I remember being able to see Sam Cooke and Ray Charles and all of them, Lou Rawls and everybody.
That had to be outstanding.
Yeah, it was fun.
Did you even know at that point who you were watching though?
No, I was just mesmerized by it because just watching them sing and watching people's reaction and stuff like that, it was just fantastic.
Wow. So
yeah.
They probably paved the way for a lot of artists.
For a lot of artists, yeah. When I saw the Temptations in 1962, when I heard their first song and saw them step out in their colorful uniforms, because that's what the Five Royales did, had on these colorful suits and everything and had their steps and rhythm and everything. I'm like, y'all stole that from me.
Say, I know you got that from...
But I know why, because Uncle Loman Pauling, who wrote This Is Dedicated to the One I Love, his brother Clarence used to be a part of the Five Royales, but then he moved over to Motown, and he helped to develop some of their artists, and the Temptations was one of the artists.
Wow.
So,
Awesome.
So he had some knowledge about how male groups should really take the stage.
Absolutely. Now, did that influence you going into radio at all as you got a little older?
No, it didn't.
Happened to work out
it just happened to work out that way, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Well, that's awesome. I do want to get back into the higher media school for a little bit. Because I think that a school like this is extremely important. And there are a lot of people out there that I talk to that are interested in some type of media, whether it's social media, whether it's radio, video, anything. But they don't know where to start.
Right.
As a matter of fact, when I was interested in it in the beginning, I didn't know where to start. There was a commercial I happened to see. And I went off from there, and it was, no looking back.
Yeah.
But, what would you say to those who have that same thought? Like, I'm interested in something like this, but I just don't know where to start. I don't know if a school like this even exists. I mean, obviously it does, but, for those who might be watching who haven't seen the commercial, what would you tell them?
Well, I first tell them, come in and visit. Come in and look around. Look at what we're working with, and then if you want to sit in on a class, see what we offer. Yeah. You can hear some of our amazing instructors who are here who are in the industry, and they can tell you point blank what to expect, how to get there, and what to do. The amazing thing is you will acquire skills here that if you want to, you can start your own.
Wow.
And that's where everything is really starting to go. Yeah. Is people starting their own now. And if you know how to start your own, with the skills you get here, you know how to promote yourself. You can be your own agency.
Wow.
You can get yourself out there. Right. You can have your own internet radio station, your own digital television station. It's all right there in your hands. And learning it all right here is a great plus for you.
Wow, that's awesome. Now, through here, obviously they have to sometimes interview for some of these jobs.
Yes.
So if they go out and get internships and stuff like that. How do you get them into the habit of getting good interview practice, I guess?
We do mock interviews, and they have to come in here to, first of all, they do it the traditional way. Come dressed for success. Okay. You get the questions, and a lot of times I've given folks questions ahead of time, just so they can look at what to expect. But you don't know what questions I'm going to ask. So that way you have to really be prepared to sell yourself and describe yourself in terms that you'll be paid for. Be able to explain what your 5-year goal is, why you want to work at that particular company, where you see yourself, 4 or 5 years from now in that company. Yeah. How do you motivate others? Yeah. Who motivates you? What's your greatest accomplishment so far? All kinds of questions that can come at you that you need to be prepared for. And you may not be interviewed by one person. Sometimes you're interviewed by a panel. It might be 2 or 3 people walking, you walk into the room and there may be 3 or 4 people sitting in there. Ready to, I was a nervous wreck when it happened to me, so.
Wow.
So it's different. And then sometimes you can get a Skype interview or a telephone interview. Either way, nail the interview.
Yeah, definitely nail the interview.
Yeah.
What common mistakes have you seen, that students make while they're doing the mock interview that you're able to nail on the head and say, listen, you got to fix it?
Sometimes coming in not dressed properly. Other times sitting down and being cocky. Other times talking too much, over-explaining something. Answer the question.
Right.
Answer the question. Don't add more.
Right.
Answer the question.
Straight
Practice.
to the point.
That's right. Practice answering the question. And then one major thing that I tell students, have questions for the person who's interviewing you. At least 3 questions to shoot back at them. Okay. Don't just say, I don't have any questions. No, I don't have none.
Right.
You should have some questions.
For an interview such as multimedia or radio or anything, should there be something hard that the interviewer can look at or listen to, or anything, maybe a demo?
You should always. You're in the media.
Right.
You got to demonstrate that you have something quality worth listening to or looking at.
Okay.
You got to give them something to see what value you are bringing to them. So not having something that they can listen to or see, you're killing yourself.
Wow.
And here we teach students to have a WordPress page, to be on LinkedIn, to have a clean Facebook page. And I can't emphasize that enough, because potential employers look at your social media pages and it can cost you a job.
Yeah.
They can see questionable things, and it can cost you a job. So, you know, you got to be careful about who you let post things on there, what you put on there. I know a lot of times we might get ticked off and want to, you know, voice our opinion, but think twice, because once it's out there, it's out there.
That's it.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, I've heard stories where folks who've already had the job for a few years or
get fired.
Yeah.
I mean, even when in the event when there was so much police shootings or whatever, and people were throwing opinions on Facebook, a lot of people lost their jobs over those comments.
Wow.
So you just really have to be aware of what you put on your social media pages.
Wow. Yeah, I definitely agree with that. And I don't even think people really think about that.
No, they don't.
You know?
And keep your phone on. You know, and that's another thing, you know, keep your phone on. If you give that potential employer your cell phone number and they can't reach you, they're not going to keep calling.
Yeah. They got to move on to the next.
Yeah, they're going to move on to, so keep your cell phone on, keep your stuff on so they can reach you.
Yeah. Does being here and getting the education from an institution like this, do you think it gives them a leg up on maybe someone who's looking for the same type of career without this education?
I do, because there are a lot of people who've gone to 4-year institutions who come here to get their hands-on experience after they graduated.
Wow.
Because they go in cold and they discover all they've had during that time is theory and no experience.
Wow. Theory and no experience.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, and it makes sense because, you know, in a 4-year institution, as great as it may be, they don't usually emphasize specifically radio or specifically video.
Right.
And with that being said, of course, the hands-on is little to none.
Yeah. And the internship opportunities, being able to work with somebody in the field to learn from them, they didn't get that opportunity for the most part.
Wow. Well, hopefully someone out there who's watching has learned a little something.
Well, they are welcome to come in anytime and talk to us. We're ready. We'll show them around. I'll sit down and talk with them. Show them what the potential is. There are hundreds of opportunities coming over the internet to me every day that we're trying to, you know, push our students toward it. So, and they're nationwide. It's not just in Columbus. It's nationwide that they need videographers, anchors, producers, news writers, the whole gamut. You all are right in here getting all the tools that they need that you can take out there when you graduate.
Wow, there you go. So one last question for you, and then I'll let you go. In 5-10 years, I mean, where do you see, with your experience and everything that you've seen, where do you see radio, video, multimedia, as fast as it's growing? Where do you think it's headed in the next 5-10 years?
I think in the next 5 or 10 years, those of you who've been here and who are taking the emphasis classes, you're going to be ready for the next level, because I think it's going to be, what do you call this, where they did the dance with Michael Jackson, although Michael Jackson was dead, virtual reality.
Yeah, okay.
It's going to be that.
Yeah.
Personalities be able to go right into the people's living room and be there, kind of like an interaction kind of thing, because it's not just plain old radio and television anymore. It's interactive and pulling people in. That's what social media does.
Yeah.
So that's what it's going to be.
Wow.
And I think that the students who are here right now are at the springboard for the next level, because you're getting the basics of what's going to be virtual pretty soon.
Wow. See, there you have it. So if this is something that you want to get into, now is the time. Mr. Moore, how can they get in contact with the school or be reached?
They can call 614-655-5250. We're happy to answer your call. If you want to talk to me, just let Ebony know. She'll hook up the appointment, and we're on.
There you go.
Yeah, we're on.
Appreciate your time, sir.
Thank you
very much.
You.
There you have it for people. Look, my head is blasting with all the information I just got. I can't even speak anymore. No Sudden Moves TV, Episode 2, myself, Mr. Alvis Moore, Ohio Media School, right here in Whitehall, Ohio. You can come and speak with him or any other counselors and educators who are willing to help. It's your man, DJ Swamp Thing. I'll see you next week.
Over here? I can show you where my dad is. I'll tell you what. You tell me if you can pick him out.
Okay. Let's see. Here?
Nope.
All right, one more.
Close.
It
was close.
I was close.
There he is. That's my dad.
All right.
That's my dad.
Look at that. The legendary 5 Royale.
Yeah. And here I'm accepting their induction award into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
Oh, really?
They were finally inducted into there.
Wow.
And it was amazing because I heard Paul McCartney and the Beatles talk about their influence to them and other people overseas. Yeah. Up here is when they were performing. And they first performed in Cleveland, right where the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame is built. That's where they did their first secular performance. But they were always performing in front of black audiences and sometimes white audiences, but it was always kind of like segregated. They couldn't stay in good old hotels or anything like that.
Was it because I watched the Temptations movie. It was a part where they had a strip to separate.
Yeah.
Was it like that?
It was like that in some instances, yeah. What? They could not sing in front of an integrated audience where they were all together.
That's crazy.
Yeah, it was crazy.
I can't even.
It was really crazy.
Imagine. That's
and here they talk about the thing of their real influence. And I told you about Clarence Pauling, who was Loman Pauling's brother. But it talks about all of the people that the 5 Royals influenced with their music.
Look at that.
Nationwide.
Michael Jackson up there.
Michael Jackson.
Ray Charles.
Everybody.
Mick Jagger.
And Ray Charles taught me how to play the piano when I was little.
What?
And Sam Cooke taught me how to sing. And Jackie Wilson taught me how to dance.
I am jealous.